Right, so thanks so much for coming on the show today then, Hayley. Could you just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Haylee Benton. I am a salon entrepreneur, I suppose you could say. I have four different salons, and one's called Alchemy and I, which is a hair salon, Cecily Day Spa, and also Koha Skin Clinics.
Oh, good, good. So when did you start out in the beauty world then?
Gosh, probably about 6 or 7 years ago, I started off. I mean, my background is actually in signage and sort of engineering, manufacturing, so a very male-dominated environment with production and factories, that sort of thing. So, yeah, so it's I was just sort of like thrown into the beauty industry, I suppose.
Oh, really? So I guess obviously the beauty industry is never where you thought you would be.
No, no, not really. It's just sort of evolved and yeah, definitely now something that yeah, I can't see myself doing anything else now.
hmm So where did that come from then? How did you get into the beauty?
I was looking for, I think it was something like gel nails. I just wanted to go somewhere nearby. I think it was actually, sorry, for my eyebrows, and I couldn't find anything. And I needed a plumber, and I'd gone on to trustatrader.com, and I was like, this is such a good website. Why is this not, around for beauty? So
Mhm.
I then developed like the TripAdvisor of the beauty industry in the UK called Pamperpad. So currently, we've got over 8,000 hair and beauty business profiles on there. So I just did that sort of on my own whilst I was studying at Warwick University, a business degree. And it just sort of, yeah, just went a bit crazy really for the first couple of years and just grew rapidly. And I had to find out quite a lot about beauty and hair. And yeah, that's kind of how I fell into it because I was trying to get a solution for myself.
That's such a good idea and story. So that's where, obviously, that's where Pamperpad came from. That's so good. And so, being in and out of lockdown, then, and you still having the four salons that you have, what do you think's helped keeping those salons through these terrible times?
Yeah, it's been pretty tough for everyone,
Oh,
hasn't it? Oh my God. But I think like my background in sort of financial aspects,
mhm.
I've run companies, large multi-million pound companies, and I've seen them go bust as well. And I've seen how they've gone bust. So I'm very, very conscious of that about myself, even though I'm not an accountant, I'm not
Yeah.
a bookkeeper, but I make sure that I know a lot about finance. So the financial planning, I'm quite proud that we've sort of got through, and I always am on the phone to the accountants, once every couple of weeks, checking in on them. Um, just business acumen as well, especially for hair and beauty salon owners. Most people come from being a hairdresser or a beautician,
Yeah.
so the business side of things is really hard for them to learn, and something they have to learn on the job. Whereas I suppose I'm lucky in the sense that I always see it from an outside point of view. So yeah, we've been lucky in the sense of just knowing how to run a business,
Yeah.
and also the culture of our company with the team. And we've been, communicating daily and just trying to keep them all motivated so that when we come back each time, they're on the right team and they feel positive and motivated to try and dig deep and help the company come back stronger.
Yeah, oh, that's so good. I know, I think that comes up time and time again with it's like being a hairdresser or a beauty therapist. I think you get sprung in to the business side of things
Mm,
when you want to open your salon and stuff, do you know? It's tough.
yeah.
Um, so what advice would you have for struggling businesses going through the pandemic just now then?
I think obviously it's pretty much almost been a year now, so they've probably done quite a lot of things anyway, like, all the industry training. But I would say if you're a salon owner, you really hopefully would have learned a lot about the business running side of things. You've actually had the time to do it. So learning the business behind the business is super important. Like really understanding your numbers, can you read a profit and loss? Do you know what a cash flow forecast is? it sounds like jargon, but actually it's really simple once you break it down. And if you've got a good accountant, they can certainly help you do that. But so my advice would be, especially when you're reopening, you're going to need to, I don't know, top up your stock and figure out how you're going to pay that first lot of rent again if your landlord has paused your payments. And it's going to be quite a shock to the system. And juggling your cash flow is going to be one of the biggest problems. It's one of those things is turnover is vanity, profit is sanity,
Yeah.
and cash is king. Cash is what makes it go round, and that's the one thing that will make your business go bust, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think cash flow was the biggest problem I think everyone faced. Like in the March one, like last year, I
Mm.
felt that's when you felt everybody was what was going on.
Completely. And it's just making those phone calls as well, like asking for the payment plans and saying, look, my business is going to reopen. I just don't want to, I would say, just say to them, you don't want to make a payment plan that you can't keep.
Mhm.
Can they work with you? And just keep talking and keep communicating with people.
Yeah, that's good. So you help other businesses scale as well. What do you believe it actually takes to make a salon successful?
Well, I think having a unique selling point is really important. You can be just a standard beauty salon or a hair salon, and you could have the most amazing therapists and stylists, and they're all very good with color and beauty. Um, but actually, you need a unique selling point that's more than that. That's going to create loyalty. But what's going to make you different? What's going to make new people come to you? So creating an experience is a real big part of what I do. I'm the fussiest client in the world, which is how I've ended up, building these salons. But I would treat the clients that you have, like with the loyal ones, treat them with care and don't get too comfortable. I used to go to a salon myself and it'd be like, oh, that's okay. It's just Haylee, we're running late and I sort of thought, hang on a minute, I'm coming here every month and I'm actually not getting treated like a VIP. And
Mhm.
it just really frustrated me. So again, that's something I've been very, very aware of when trying to build these salons.
Oh, that's so good. I think it's so about the experience as well, isn't it? It's not just about
Absolutely.
doing a good treatment.
Yeah, and just going back to how to make it successful, I would say that not enough people really focus on the marketing, like a really good marketing strategy. What's the perception of your business online? Digital marketing is just so important to learn and understand as well. And getting your team on board to share their pictures, of hair or beauty and things that are going on in the salon, and really create a sense of engagement with people, so they want to go and go, oh my gosh, that looks like an amazing place to go to and have some fun. And those stylists and therapists look really friendly and nice.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So how important do you think having a mentor is in the beauty business world as well?
Hugely important. And I think you can get mentors in all sorts of uh, nooks and crannies. They come in different forms. And it's just important to have someone that you can bounce off, you can talk to, and you're inspired by. I'm a big believer in that. And I might have a different mentor each month. I sort of I'll hone into someone, and, I never think I know everything. I'm always learning from someone. And I think the most important thing for me is that they keep me accountable. Like my accountant's a classic example of that. They're not just an accountant. I make them hold me accountable. Like, did I achieve this figure this month? No. Well, why not? And
Mhm,
because otherwise, being your own boss, you can kind of do what you want,
mhm.
which that's great, but it actually doesn't mean that you're producing the best results you could produce.
Yeah, and you could be going further in life, I guess, if you just stay still, don't you? Like,
Yeah, I like someone to sort of not tell me off, but kind of go, Haley, you're better than this. You can do better than this.
mhm,
And I encourage that. Like, I encourage people giving me feedback. And it's not just, experts, like I say, in the industry. It's also asking the team, like, what can I be doing better all the time?
that's so good. So you kind of touched on it about marketing, but do you think social media is a really important part in business today?
Definitely. I think it's more important than ever now.
Mhm.
One of the biggest reasons behind our business growth is the fact that we've really pushed marketing. So many people just do marketing on the side, or they might post something once a week when they've got time. And I think that's where it drives the most new clients,
Mhm.
and also your loyal clients, just putting your brand in their mind and going, oh, I need to rebook in there. It's yeah, just making a conscious effort to do it. And if you don't know how to do it, it's getting a good team, a marketing team to do
Yeah.
it, all sorts of different things. It's not just social media.
Mhm.
Lots of offline marketing as well is important. And yeah, I think people don't invest as much as they should do, because what they put in, they will get out of it.
Yeah. I know. I think it's almost like when you are a business owner, especially with beauty, the Instagram is it's like part of your job to do, isn't it? It's like you do need to dedicate the time to that. You hear it more and more again when you speak to people. Like that's everybody what they say.
Yeah,
Hmm.
completely.
I know. I almost think it's like a shop front now, though. Like your Instagram and stuff. So because obviously we're not really around in the main streets and things anymore.
Mm,
It's
mm.
almost like a shop front with all your photos and things.
Yeah, and good photography is massive now on Instagram. Like we have a photographer that comes into us like once every couple of months and just shoots random images. We've got like lovely headshots of all the girls. We've got team shots. Just making it really personal. And on our Instagrams, if you do go and follow them, you'll see that each of them have their own profile, because they all have a story to tell, and we're all loyal to our therapists or stylists. So yeah, but the photography is so important because it just makes it more enticing to want to go there.
Yeah, definitely. Uh-huh. So back to Pamperpad then. I know why it came about, but what were you wanting to achieve then at first when you were thinking about this?
I think I just wanted to create like a hub,
Mm.
that if you wanted to find anything, you could just go on there and be like, I don't know, what does that treatment do? It could be in the aesthetics environment. What does Botox do? And just loads of different things. It's almost like just a knowledge hub for pampering, for making people feel good. And whilst you can Google something, you can't compare it all on one site.
Yeah.
So that was probably the most important part behind it, but also finding like trusted salons. So, we verify their insurance details, qualifications, and things like that, and just trying to understand if they are properly qualified.
Well, that's so good. So obviously being in the industry, you like when you're saying that realizes that it needs to be more taken serious. Do you think the beauty industry like that's almost the one step to get there? I think when you're saying about taking the insurances into consideration and things.
Definitely. I think that's probably one frustration in the industry, isn't it? That people can just do a quick hour course and be qualified, and
Mhm.
someone's spent years perfecting that and doing things properly. And I just think we need to be really clear about who has the actual qualification and what the difference is for a qualification, because consumers won't know the difference, and it's their safety that's the most important.
Yeah, definitely. It's a little bit more scarier with all the online courses going around. I don't know if you've seen because a lot
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the pandemic. People have been, I suppose, trying to make the most out of
Mm,
opportunities for online training, but it might not be that I know the ones you're talking about, there's a few of them you sort of are questionable of
mm.
um, how good they are. But, it just depends on the provider.
Yeah, definitely. So younger Haley, what were you like growing up, school? Were you always, did you think you were going to be this entrepreneur? Did you see that growing up?
Um, sort of like I always loved business and making money and things, and I used to like I had this love for it as soon as I think I was about 15 in my business studies class. I was like, oh, like I kind of found my niche, the thing that I loved, and we created a business at school. And there was about 6 or 7 of us, and I was like the managing director of it, for instance.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, and it was we decided to do an underwear company with like slogans on underwear. so that, you're at high school and it's just a bit of fun. And so
Uh,
we actually sold all of our personalized slogan underwear to our school, our school parents, then other schools, and it actually was really good. And I thought, oh, I might end up being in this underwear business,
yeah.
but it just kind of fizzled out. But we won some business awards for like young entrepreneurs, and it kind of just grew from there. But my mum was a maths teacher, and my dad was a policeman, so I had a really not a strict upbringing, but like, they had quite serious jobs. And
Yeah.
I think, I suppose, I don't really know. Maybe I just wanted to create my own path and be fully in control of my future
Mhm.
rather than working for the government or working for a bigger organization. I just feel like I'm kind of limitless. The only limit is me now. And I like the fact that I can help other people grow. And I kind of have found the thing that I love and my purpose.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. That's so good that you were in high school then that as well. That's so funny. So do you believe in a positive mindset, and do you think that's something that helps with success?
Absolutely. I think, I mean, my staff probably think I'm really weird, but for the last year, I don't think I've had any sort of negative conversations. I always try and be quite upbeat and positive. And I'm not putting it on. I genuinely feel like that. I'm trying to be optimistic and forward thinking, because out of adversity will come opportunities. And I just am a big believer this is going to make us grow a lot stronger and bigger. So big problems don't really affect me. I don't know. I just don't see the point in having a negative mindset. It doesn't make sense to me.
Hmm. Well, it's not good, doesn't it? I feel I always try and keep positive, especially within the last year. I think I've learned a lot that you can't change things. So what I always think like that. I'm like, well, if you can't change anything, there's no point in going on about it.
No, certainly not. And especially being in lockdown, you kind of have to just deal with it.
Hmm.
And that's the hardest thing. You're sort of fighting with your own demons. You are on your own a lot. And it's a real challenge of self-care and understanding what you want from life. And I think I was talking on a podcast the other day about, all of these staff members, or anyone really, have had all this time to reflect. And they're like, what do I want for my career? And
Hmm.
salon owners now are going to face another challenge of trying to stay positive even when you reopen, because everyone else is going to have these other expectations. So it's almost like another phase that we're going to go into. But I don't think that you can actually drive momentum and real positive growth without having a positive outlook for scaling a business. Like, you've got to keep going, and whatever it takes, you just got to do it.
Yeah, exactly, totally. So do you set goals in your life like that you like to achieve in your career? Have you always set goals?
Yeah, I mean, lots of people, I think that I do, but I don't. Like, not necessarily. I have a vision of the impact that I want to make on the hair and beauty industry, like as a disruptor. I find that quite fun, and that I've had a part to play in changing the norms of the hair and beauty industry. I find that that's a really good goal for me, but it's a fluid goal.
Yeah.
So my goals are always changing. They don't stop. So, if we achieve something one month, we have another goal the next month. But yeah, I wouldn't say that I have big goals that I just cross off, because they're always changing.
Goals change. And I think when you get to a goal, you're always like, right, what's the next one anyway, aren't you?
Yeah, and I also think most people in the last year, to set a goal has been really hard to do. Apart from personal goals, like I'm gonna, I think I did fitness every day in February. That was my goal, and I
Yeah,
did it. So, maybe it's like mini goals.
those the wee wins.
Yeah, we wins. I like that.
So where do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
Oh,
I love this
don't.
question.
What does it look like? Gosh, that's a hard question. Um, I suppose I really want to scale the businesses and grow. Like, this pandemic to me is just fueling my fire even more. It's kind of, I really want to scale the businesses. So I don't want volume of salons. I want a lot of salons that are run very well, and they're in, hot spots, I suppose. and that could be here or in my home country of New Zealand. But I really want to be seen as a market leader and leading the way for salons and how they do things, and for people to aspire to what we do.
Yeah. So is it a spa that you have in New Zealand as well? Is that?
I've got a hair salon and a beauty
Mhm.
salon all in one over there.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, good. So you'd like to get more there and then grow here too. That's
Yeah,
so good.
both places, and possibly Australia as well.
Mm-hmm. Beauty's big in Australia as well, though, isn't it? I've always heard
It is.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That'd be good. So two last questions then to end on the show. What is your best or most worthwhile investment you've made?
I think probably the most recent one that I can think of is the opening the salon in New Zealand. We opened it in the middle of the pandemic. I was stuck at home in New Zealand last year, and just ended up like getting influenced by my friends saying that, oh, you got to bring an Alchemy and I over here. And so I just took the risk, signed the lease on the building. Then myself and the salon director, Sean, we spent for like 6 months on Zoom interviewing people and talking to builders every couple of days on Zoom, and literally did the whole thing from Zoom. But when I came back here to the UK, and so we hadn't even, I mean, Sean's still not met our salon manager over there. Like it was just a big risk, and it's been a big investment, and it's only actually been open for 3 months. So but the risk, the why I'm saying it now, because it's quite relevant, is because that we were closed here and that one stayed open. So the weird part was the UK was meant to be supporting this new salon on the other side of the world, but what ended up happening is that New Zealand is sort of standing alone,
Yeah.
is open and sort of having to grow for itself and not having any backup, which is not something that I planned for. But
No.
I think it's definitely going to be an investment worthwhile. As I say, it's only been open for 3 months, but we've already seen 872 people walk through the door in 3 months, and that's from a salon from scratch. And so I'm really hoping that that's going to be a worthwhile
Well,
investment.
that's so good. That's a crazy idea though, but yeah, it looks like it'll be worthwhile. So in the last 5 years, what's a new habit or belief that has improved your life?
I think assessing my to-do list each day. But before I'm always writing down my to-do list, even though I use a really good system called ClickUp online, and my whole team use it. It's really great. But I still like that pen and paper thing. And at the top of each to-do list, I just write body, business, mind. So I have almost like a check-in about how I feel about each one of them each day. And then I also write it down each day. So I'm always writing down each page, even if I have to write the same thing out, my to-do list. It
Mm-hmm.
just means that I think to myself, oh my God, I've written this out like 10 times now. It's been 10 days since I first wrote that down, and it's annoying me that I keep writing it down. So just organizing myself a little bit more, but being conscious that my body and my mind, if they're not right, then my business won't be right, and really understanding that they all work together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. That's something I've thought about through this pandemic. I think having that downtime, I'm elastic, but it's like I work all the hours of the day normally. So see
Mm.
when this pandemic first hit, I was like, what am I going to do? And then I thought, do you know, you're running on empty sometimes when you're living like that. So yeah, I really learned that in the pandemic. I felt like you really do need to look after yourself to
Mm.
get the best with things.
Completely.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where can people find you on social media then in the salons?
Yeah, so they can find me on Instagram, and it's Haylee.Benton, so Haylee.Benton. And from there, you'll find the links to the salons. Yeah, feel free to go check them out, have a look at the photos that I was saying about earlier. And yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me.
Yeah, perfect. So it was so nice to speak to you today then, Hayley. Thanks so much again for coming on the show.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me. Lovely to speak to you.